Hi, I'm Patrick and this is the Mach-E vlog. If you are a Ford EV owner and you've been waiting for your Tesla Supercharger adapter, well, good news. Either you probably already have it or it's arriving very soon. Ford has announced they have shipped 140,000 Tesla Supercharger adapters. Some were the Tesla designed adapter that first went out, but then now we have the Ford-branded Tesla Supercharger adapter that's been going out. We're going to take a look at all the details in a moment, so let's go.
This video is sponsored by EV Vita, creators of mods and accessories for all EVs and exclusive resellers of best EV mod accessories with direct customer support.
With EV Vita, it doesn't just end when you get their products. They have lots of tutorials. They're very quick to answer questions. We have their products in our Mach-E and our Equinox, and we're really proud to have them as a sponsor. There's a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to put a lot of links down in the description. First of all, if you don't have one of these adapters, you can now order them online from Ford. So we'll put that link down in the description first of all. But I do want to talk about the adapters themselves because this is the one that they started shipping last February. And a lot of people, there was a lot of delays with this adapter. And we did a lot of videos with it. We were lucky. We were one of the first ones to have this adapter. And basically, it was a Tesla design, Tesla provided. Ford never really said that, but it looks just like a Magic Dock adapter that you may have seen if you don't have one of these. And there were some delays from getting these from Tesla. And again, like Ford doesn't want to say like Tesla is slow getting us the adapters, but that's where they were coming from. That's where the delays started. And to be quite honest, I had some issues with the way this adapter is designed. It feels a bit cheap. It's sort of hard to get off of the Tesla cable. So there were some, some design issues that I wasn't really happy with, as well as the fact that like this button is like metal, gets really hot when it's like 115 degrees. So I was really excited that they have teamed up with Electron, number one, to get the production numbers up so that everybody can get their adapter more quickly, which seems to be the case. Seems that has finally worked. And also they made some design improvements on the current Electron as well as that Tesla adapter. So this is basically a design that Ford has worked with Electron and has done some improvements to the Electron design, as well as like, I think it's an improvement over the original adapter that they sent us about a year ago, actually over a year ago. This is hefty and bigger. So if you put them up side by side, let's see, you can sort of see this has like a little bit of a more of a rectangle look, but it sort of feels like hollow. This feels like very solid and hefty. I do have the Electron adapter. I won't spend a ton of time on this, but I was curious because I was like, in the initial photos, I thought they looked identical, but there are some, minor design changes, very subtle differences, like right here in the joint, basically. The Ford one is more squared off. Of course, the Ford one has the Ford logo on it. That is the Ford one, right? The Ford logo on it. But other than that, it's really hard to tell that there are many differences. Inside on the, and again, just got to double check, on the Electron adapter, it has like looks like an orange seal in there. Orange gasket or something like that. I don't see that on the Ford one. And let's see, any other changes? Yeah, there's probably some internal changes. They both feel about the same heft, but again, they both weigh more than this first Tesla adapter. So I was planning on like, I'm going to take this right away and go charge and test it out. But Ford actually, with the information that they sent us about this Electron adapter, they showed us all of the testing that they did to make sure that this is a quality product and is going to last you for years and years and not fail. The battery of tests that they put this through is nothing that I would want to do. First of all, I don't want to break adapters are like $200 each. But Ford and Electron teamed together to really make sure this is durable. They did multiple drop tests on it. They sprayed it with water to see if like a heavy rain, if you left it out in the rain, would that intrude into the interior of it. They did a submersion test. They ran it over with the F-150 Lightning. Lots and lots of tests on this. And what was really interesting too is like, not only did they run it over, they ran it over like at different angles. The submersion test, they must have left it down there for at least a certain amount of time to make sure it reaches the standards. I think IP67. I got to check that or fix that in this with the graphic. But I feel very confident that this thing is going to be very solid and last for years and years. They also, of course, in the box here, just jumping all around. So the box is sort of designed like if you want to keep the box, it sort of is a very nice way to store your adapter. And I'm putting it together so you can't see it, but you basically put those on it and it goes back in the box. And then you have like a nice box that you can keep in your front or trunk and carry it around with you. Some people have been looking for cases. We found this case, by the way, I'll put a link in the description for this, for the original adapter. And it was actually, I didn't find it. It was a GoPro camera case that I bought several years ago. And it just happens to fit the original adapter. So I'll put a link for this down below if it's still available. I think it went out of stock. And I'll see if I can find a case for the bigger Ford/Electron adapter. But in any case, if you do want to just store it and you don't, fast charge that often, it's not a bad way to carry it around is to have that box. They did also include the same information as they did with the original, with like how to charge. And one of the things in here is they show that basically you attach it to the cable, then you plug in. When you're done charging, you hit stop, you detach it from the car, and then you remove the adapter from the cable. So do it in that order. There's been, within the different manufacturers, Electron and A to Z, of like which order you do it. Like, do you plug the adapter in and then the cable? Ford suggests repeatedly attach the adapter to the cable, then plug into the car, stop, unplug the whole thing, and then take the adapter off. So Ford suggesting that's the way I would go if you are using these adapters. They also, of course, go into some of the details about how to find superchargers. We have a video that covers a lot of these tips, as well as one of the cool things I think with accessing the Tesla Supercharger network. There are 4 different ways to activate a charge. I'll go over them really quickly, but again, we have a whole video. First one is if you have plug and charge set up, you can just literally plug in the car or start charging. The second way is using the Ford Pass app. You can literally activate a charging session with the Ford Pass app. Third way is using the public charging app on your screen in your Mach-E or your Lightning. You can select the charging stall that you need and hit initiate. It'll start charging. Again, charging your Ford Pass or your Ford account for the cost. And then the final way, you can actually use the Tesla app. And the main reason you might want to use the Tesla app is if you're going to be doing a bunch of charging at a supercharger, you can pay I think it's $12.95 a month. You become a member, and then your charging rates are discounted per kilowatt hour. So I found that basically 1 to 2 big charges on a Mach-E or a Lightning make it worthwhile to have that monthly membership. So if you're going on a road trip, you can turn it on for that month, and then as soon as you're done, just turn it back off. Don't do like me and forget to turn it off, and then you get charged for 3 extra months. Make sure you set a reminder, I'm turning it on, and then at the end of the month, set a reminder to turn it off. But 4 different ways. Again, we have a video that shows you all of those, as well as some other tips. We have links on the Mustang Mach-E Club of America website on parking tips. So the basic premise of parking etiquette at a supercharger is try to park to the far right. So if you are taking up 2 spots, maybe that's 1 spot is outside of the supercharger area, so you won't really be taking up 2 spots. If you see another Mach-E or Lightning or other car that has their charge port on the left side, park next to them, because then your 2 cars taking up 3 spots, not 2 cars taking up 4 spots. Little simple things like that that can be very helpful in the overall charging etiquette of using, a Tesla Supercharger. And it's the same type of thing. It's like if you're using Electrify America, try to take up a spot that will make sure there's room for other cars that want to charge. It's just being a good person, right? Some of the other news that they presented today from Ford was just, again, talking about the number of superchargers that are available. They started out at 15,300. That's been increased to 20,000 now. That's all Tesla bringing more chargers that are compatible online, updating some chargers that were not previously available. And it's basically their version 3, most of the version 3s and their version 4s. And of course, with Magic Docks, it doesn't matter. You can already charge there. Any car with CCS can charge there because they have an adapter at the station versus you providing your own adapter. And I thought another really cool stat is that 20%, basically 1 in 5 Ford EV owner fast charging sessions are now being done at Superchargers. So that's showing you like how many people are taking advantage of the Supercharger network, going out there and using Superchargers while they're out on the road, or just doing some of their weekly charging sessions. Now the other thing is like the BlueOval Charge Network. So that's sort of like a whole separate entity, and we're gonna like go into a little bit more detail on that specifically. So what is the BlueOval Charge Network? Well, it is basically Ford helping you as a Ford customer connect to a bunch of different networks, including Ford Charge, which of course is all of the chargers at their Ford dealers, but also Tesla Superchargers, Electrify America, Shell Recharge, ChargePoint, EVgo, EV Connect, Blink, Flow, Electric Circuit, Red E, Francis Energy, and FPL Evolution. So that it basically, what it does is instead of installing all of those different apps, you can connect to using your Ford Pass or your charging app in the car and initiate charging, which means you don't have to have a bunch of different apps. You don't have to have a bunch of different billing accounts. You can consolidate it all just under your Ford account, which makes things a lot simpler. Now, I will note that like if you want to discounted Electrify America or like Tesla Supercharger membership rate, you have to join those individual networks and initiate charging using those apps. So those are 2 big caveats. Now, with the Supercharger network as well as the Electrify America network, those also support plug-in charge using your Ford account. So you can literally just plug in and your Ford account will get charged. So even though it isn't like a Ford network that they built out on their own, they've handled the administrative work to make it basically function as one whole network for you. Now, the other cool thing is like how many stations there are. So there are now up to about 50,000 sites that are in the BlueOval Charge Network. That's actually about 180,000 individual chargers. And if we go over here, you can find this in your Ford Pass app, but if you just want to browse on your desktop and take a look, this is the way you can sort of see like how expansive this network is. And I've just brought up San Diego, California, near us. We're in North San Diego County, and put the filter at 20 miles, including all BlueOval Charge Network at any speed. And you can sort of mess around and see how many different chargers based on what filters, but there's 368 that are in the BlueOval Charge Network. If I shift that to all, there's 500, and that may actually be a limit of how many can show up on the map. But there's 500 total that are in the BlueOval network and outside the BlueOval network. And then just within the BlueOval Charge Network, there's 368. So even though it does give you access to a ton of chargers, you may still need to find a different charging app for some of these one-offs. But if it's like Electrify America, Tesla Supercharger, EVgo, they're all included, all accessible via your Ford Pass app. Now, the other thing, there are some other filters, just like on your Ford Pass app. If you want, you can just limit that to like your ultra fast chargers, which is basically like the 250 kilowatt superchargers, the 350 kilowatt Electrify America chargers, those types. And of course, that drops the number of sites down quite a bit, but still, 28 within a 20-mile radius of San Diego is not bad. So anyways, that's the gist of the BlueOval Charge Network, and really cool to see that they're constantly expanding it. Not necessarily through anything that Ford is doing, but all of these different networks are expanding more and more. Now, what we do hope Ford does is, like, there's the Iona network that is GM and BMW, and I believe, quite a few others like Honda and Toyota, I believe, are involved in creating this new charging network. Has a lot of promise. They've already opened a handful of sites. I don't know if Ford will necessarily participate in building out the network, but maybe they can bring them into the BlueOval Charge Network and at least make it so that it's a seamless process. But anyways, that's the great thing. Ford is constantly improving the number of stations that are available to us in the BlueOval Charge Network. I forgot something else that is very important, so I'm just inserting this wherever I can find a point. But also today, Apple announced that using Apple Maps in CarPlay, in a Mach-E or a Lightning, will now do EV routing, including superchargers. So for the longest time, Apple Maps has been able to do EV routing if you have a Mach-E or a Lightning, but they were ignoring the Tesla Superchargers, which is a big issue if you're trying to do an efficient road trip. So that's fantastic news. We're going to do a video on that. I was going to try to do it tonight, but I thought this video took precedent. If you're wondering, Google Maps and Android Auto have that capability. They just got it a few weeks ago for some of us. Some of us have had it, or some other people have had it for like months, but we did a video on that. So we'll put a link to that video down below as well. Or you can just Google Maps, Mach-E, EV routing, it'll probably show up. So very cool. I did want to mention that separately in this video because we're talking about charging, we're talking about using Tesla Superchargers, and I think it's really cool that in the Mach-E and the Lightning, you can do EV routing, including superchargers, with your preferred mapping provider, Google Maps in Android Auto or Apple Maps with CarPlay. Super cool. Now let's continue talking about the charging adapters. A couple of other items of news that Ford sent over to us that I think are really sort of indicative of the Ford EV market and where it's going. First of all, they were talking about charging reliability is up. So, of course, your car is sending in, anonymous data about how things are performing. And one of the things that they're able to monitor, of course, is like how many charging sessions are basically just work on the first time, meaning the car connects and everything charges and you're good to go, versus like you move stalls or anything like that. So apparently the number of sessions that are working just on the first time, that number is up. That's great to see. And that means charging reliability across all of the networks is improving. I'm sure a big part of that is, the Tesla Supercharger network probably has more reliability than some of the other networks that we won't necessarily name. So that's great to see reliability's up, as well as the number of charging sessions. Now, of course, Ford has been selling more and more Mach-E's and Lightnings and e-Transits. In the past year, the numbers are actually up, contrary to what a lot of people believe, but the numbers for the Mach-E and the Lightning have been up. But the number of charging sessions doubled from December 2023 to December 2024. So that just shows there's more people out there, more people charging. There's more good data out there on what is happening with those charging sessions. But it's just like we also have more charging options. So like across the board, a lot of good news if you are a Ford EV owner. If you want to order this adapter, even though you don't have a Ford, just because it has the Ford logo, this will work with any CCS car. So if you have an Equinox, like we have one of those out in the driveway as well. We actually have a Polestar in the driveway as well right now that we're testing out. Look out for a video on that in a couple of weeks. But this will work for all of them. It's a great option. As you can see, as I was talking about earlier, it's very durable. Didn't really go into the function of it, but just comparing it quickly to the Electron and the previous adapter, the button up here to connect to the car is like you can hear a switch going off when you open it up. I don't know if you can hear that, but anyways, that one seems very easy. This one down here, now I think this is like where there's a big improvement over the strictly Electron adapter. It's very easy to push that button, and that's the one that releases the cable. Now over on the Electron, that's like the biggest difference. Like I was saying, like this one, that feels like it's the same. The one down here, it's like I can push it, but it's like it's sort of tough to push. Like my hand is like shaking slightly as I squeeze it in. And then the final comparison, of course, this one is actually sort of easy, except that it's a button and it's not like I don't know, it's just a small button. So it's sort of like a little bit of a weird thing to like just push that versus like a lever that's on the others. And then to detach the cable, the one thing I don't like about this, and this is one of the things I noticed on day one, and actually Liv pointed out, is that if you have ergonomic issues with your hand, you sort of have to like stick your finger in there and push down with a bit of force while you're trying to pull the cable out. And so much so, like this design was a little bit awkward, is like the Ford engineers are like, make sure you're not like pushing and pulling this way, because they're worried people are going to like drop the adapter because it sort of comes out with some force. So it was like, hold it like under your arm and pull. It was awkward. We have videos on that as well. Anyways, didn't want this to be a long video because it's just really some quick news. 140,000 adapters have gone out. They're available for sale. It is a Ford-branded, Ford-tested, as you could see, adapter that's going to be very durable for years and years. Really happy to see this, available for sale and out to so many people. There were so many delays last year. I know everybody was frustrated. Hopefully now everybody is happy and charging. That's why I wore my shirt today, Stay Charged, which you can buy. I think this is online as well. So we'll put a link for that. But thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please check out the Mustang Mach-E Club. We'll put the link right here. We're also, if you're a Lightning owner, we are teaming up with the Lightning Clubs of America. So we now have FordEVClubs.org, as well as, I should also mention, a completely separate entity, but just as important, the Mustang Mach-E Girls Club. All of those links are down below. We have a new social media platform that we've created at Ford EV Clubs for all Ford EV owners. We're going to have lots of photo sharing, event sharing, lots of good information on there. We'll put news announcements like this on there as well. So make sure you check out Ford EV Clubs, and you can check out all of those three clubs and join, which is the most important thing. Please join us and have fun with other Ford EV owners. So again, thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure you share this on all the Facebook groups and all of that. Help us spread the word. And then, of course, thank you to our Patreon members that have been supporting us, making this journey happy and worthwhile along the way, as well as our YouTube members. You guys have all been great for supporting us, chipping in a couple of bucks per month that lets us do road trips and buy cameras and mics and all this other good stuff. And as Liv would say, just remember, whatever you drive, however you charge, enjoy your charge and ride, right? I don't know. She's over there. Bye.